Last night I was sitting on the balcony and pondering Elden Ring's lore in my mind, enjoying the beauty of the stars with a cup of coffee in my hands, doing the finishing touches on my Goldmask and Corin drawing, meanwhile letting my thoughts freely drift, enjoying a nice, somber, quiet evening. Yet, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I had a profound insight into what Goldmask had realized posing the Golden Order totality gesture in the Stargazer's ruins at the end of his adventure. I realized how I was a fool thinking that the only thing Goldmask was conscious of was the Radagon is Marika plot twist. The plot twist that we have provided him back in the capital. That wasn't the answer. The questions and calculations Goldmask was pondering the entire game was far more complex and multi-layered than I've given him credit for. In this video, I'm going to explain what I've realized that night. The only way to understand Goldmask's calculations is to understand the building blocks of the Golden Order totality gesture given to us by Goldmask himself. The crucial insights are gained from the inner order and outer order gestures. After doing their respective side quests, you connect inner and outer order into a singular understanding, as Goldmask is doing in the mountaintops of the giants, to create the Golden Order totality gesture, a transcendental ideology, the truth that pierces the very Golden Order itself. First, let's start the conversation with Corin. Beneath a thin veneer of civility and restraint, Corin is an inflexible fundamentalist whose uncompromising adherence to his faith renders him entirely unwilling to question it. His fervent devotion to the Golden Order compels him to seek out the noble Goldmask, a figure of great renown among the Earthtree's worshippers, in hopes of serving a greater purpose by documenting the eminent philosopher's wisdom. Corin's desperate desire for comfort and validation leaves him increasingly fearful of what awaits him at the end of his journey with Goldmask, who seeks only the absolute truth, even if the answers should threaten to unravel the entire system of beliefs upon which Golden Order was founded. The path of spirituality. See, it is of paramount to understand Goldmask is the Elden Ring's representation of the ascetic spiritual practitioners and traditions of the past. Miyazaki has perfectly encapsulated the pursuit of the absolute truth and how the consequent bastardization of its principles occur by religious zealots like Corin, turning a direct spiritual path of greater understanding into an inflexible and dogmatic religion via misinterpretation and second-hand knowledge. Religion is more of a conceptual framework that values scriptures and writing down commandments for people to follow, the path of documentation, whereas spirituality is purely an experiential pursuit of understanding, so much so in fact that Goldmask doesn't even speak to us, to not break the concentration that he builds up in his contemplations and meditations. Asceticism is a spiritual path of renouncing all material possessions and comforts to attain a deeper understanding of the nature of reality via practices like meditation and koan contemplations. That is why Goldmask is almost naked. He doesn't need clothes, social interactions, or comforts of modern society. In fact, there are tempting distractions that allure the mind and break its concentration on the subject of contemplation. Worn rags that just barely cover the body. Lord Goldmask felt no draw to the vain excess of clothing. What use is finery to one who seeks greater brilliance? The noble Goldmask is so deep in his connection to the Golden Order that he communicates exclusively in the language of the fingers, a wordless system of gestures and signs only known to a select few. As a tarnished himself, Goldmask is granted a new lease on life by blessing of the grace and summoned to the lands between. However, rather than seek the Elden throne directly, he sets out on a pilgrimage to learn the ultimate truth of the Golden Order, hoping to correct its imperfections and bring an end to the perpetual suffering brought by the shattering event. When we first see Goldmask in the Altus Plateau, he is contemplating the true nature of the Golden Order, yet he is still at the very beginning of his contemplations. After this point, you head over and speak with Corin, and he says how he's in search of a scholar known as Goldmask and beg him for his instructions.
Do you sport with me? From your description, it can be no other than the Goldmask himself. Of course, I knew he would be close by. Bless the Golden Order and its benevolent rays, and to you too, my sincerest thanks. Through you.
After you find Goldmask on the path above and tell Corin of his location, everyone gathers around and Corin asks you to speak quietly to not mess up Master Goldmask's cogitations.
We meet yet again. Thanks to you, I have become acquainted with the noble Goldmask himself, and taken my place by his side, as you can see. Have no fear. I will still teach you incantations as before, though we must do so quietly, such that we not disturb the great master's cogitation.
Pay attention to how Goldmask still hasn't moved his arms in this location. He still didn't have a breakthrough and is at the beginning of his cogitations. Next, you will find Goldmask and Corin on the east side of the Colosseum, facing the giant Earth Tree directly.
Oh, was that you? Sorry, I hardly noticed. I'm a little shaken since the master ceased his movements. The master's reflections had heightened as we neared the Earth Tree, while still a precise calculus. The rhythms grew increasingly wild until he simply ceased. Now the master is facing quite the puzzle. The Golden Order is founded on the principle that Marika is the one true god. However, the name of Marika's second husband, King Consort Radagon, also appeared. Who exactly was Radagon? The master is stumped. His finger has remained still ever since Radagon's name was discovered.
Since we've now talked to Corin, let's first investigate the gesture Goldmask is doing. He is doing the Outer Order gesture. This is telling us where Goldmask is at with his contemplations, his current realizations, the amount of work he did up until this point. So, what is this Outer Order? We get this gesture from Melina herself, in this minor earth tree church where there are 3 golden-hued minor earth trees. If you watched my previous video on Mikola, you will be familiar with the purpose and lore implications of this location. This is very important to understand, but for the purposes of this argument, here is a shortened summary and how you acquire the Outer Order.
Spoken echoes linger here, words of Queen Marika, who vanished long ago. My comrades, why must ye falter?
Basically, Minor Earth Tree Church is an experimentation ground for Marika and Mikola to ingest unalloyed gold in the Earth Tree roots for it to regain the reincarnation abilities it once lost when the Age of Plenteous came to an end. In order to understand this aspect of the lore accurately, please watch my Mikola video previously. With Marika's quote here, it is clear the insight Goldmask had in this Minor Earth Tree Church is the unalloyed golden hue of the Minor Earth Tree, and how it is so different than all the other ones. Goldmask has realized the meaning of "those blissful early days are long past," and to remedy this, unalloyed gold has been injected into these 3 separate earth trees in this church. This was the first puzzle piece. Unalloyed gold. It was the integral substance to the fabric of the Golden Order, and potentially the missing addition to the current Golden Order fundamentalism Goldmask himself was a practitioner of. This was a novel way to perfect the Golden Order, yet the mechanics of how this unalloyed gold is created or integrated into the Order remains a mystery to Goldmask. As Goldmask is surely aware, in the alchemical perspective, mercury and sulfur needs to be conjoined for the Philosopher's Stone to be created. Unless that process has been implemented, the resulting gold will be a false one, an impure one, nothing more than a deceptive appearance. This is a conundrum indeed. Now, with this understanding in mind, this recontextualizes Corin's words previously.
The Master's reflections had heightened as we neared the Erd Tree, while still a precise calculus. The rhythms grew increasingly wild until he simply ceased. Now the Master is facing quite the puzzle. The Golden Order is founded on the principle that Marika is the one true god. However, the name of Marika's second husband, King Consort Radagon, also appeared. Who exactly was Radagon? The Master is stumped. His finger has remained still ever since Radagon's name was discovered. Curse my mediocre mind. The Master only has me. And here I fail him.
You fail him, Corin, because the puzzle piece Goldmask is missing at this phase of the contemplation resides within the inner order gesture. And to understand the inner order, we need to understand the D brothers. Darien, more commonly known as D, Hunter of the Dead, is a hunter who's tasked with putting those who live in death to rest by Beast clergyman Malekith himself to erase the defilements to the Golden Order. Marika's reign has started by sealing destined to death, and those who live in death lay outside of its principles and paradigms. It needs to be erased for Marika's Golden Order to be restored. He challenges this worldview immediately with the Order healing incantation. The noble Goldmask lamented what had become of the hunters. How easy it is for learning and learnedness to be reduced to the ravings of fanatics. All the good and great wanted in their foolishness was an absolute evil to contend with. Does such a notion exist in the fundamentals of order? What we've just described previously is the propaganda and the brainwashing Malekith has infested these hunters to uproot all the visages of the Rune of Death from the lands between. The consequences of the destined death infesting Godwyn's body. This is a viewpoint that directly opposes the core tenets of the Golden Order fundamentalism, the law of causality and regression. As you can see, Goldmask is rejecting the idea that absolute evil or absolute benevolence exists in reality. Unlike the fanatic nature of the hunters, Goldmask realizes that all aspects of life contain some elements of good and bad, and each element should be viewed within the proper context, including Godwyn's death and his consequent turning into this abomination, the Rune of Death, and those who live in death. Now it is time to explore the other half of the same coin. Darien has a twin brother by the name of Devon, who is also called D, the Beholder of Death. You find him down in the underground location in the Siofra Rivers, and he provides you with the inner order gesture when you give him the twin set armor. While Darien and Devon had different minds and bodies, they shared a single soul and were reviled as cursed beings. However, the twins found sanctuary in the Golden Order, the only institution to accept them. Sword forged by compounding silver and gold, a sacred weapon to hunt those who live in death. The inseparable twins found solace in the Golden Order, the only institution not to revile them as accursed beings. Armor depicting entwined twins of gold and silver. The two known as D are inseparable twins. They are of two bodies and two minds but one single soul. Not once do they stand together. Not one word do they speak to one another. Perhaps this armor longs to find its way to the other D. Now keep this armor and its design in mind, because it's not only heavily linked with the inseparable sword, but also the contemplation Goldmask is currently trying to understand in the capital. If you were observant before, I have already given you the answer. The solution to the riddle resides in the previous line. The inseparable twins found solace in the Golden Order, the only institution not to revile them as accursed beings. This sentence holds the second key to understanding Goldmask's contemplation, the missing piece of the puzzle. Don't you think that it is suspect that the Golden Order, who is literally opposed to all manners of beastly freaks from the misbegottens to albinorics and abominations that are imprisoned within the shunning grounds below the capital sewers. It is no secret at this point that Marika disdains all manners of freaks and curseborns. However, the peculiar condition of Darien and Devon, being of two bodies yet one soul, is not regarded as a curse by Marika's Golden Order. In fact, let alone giving a punishment, Marika's order provides Darien with a secure job and welcomes these brothers with arms into its capitalistic structure. Unless Marika has seen something in the condition of these two twins, she would not give them the special treatment, something that she can easily relate to. The king consort Radagon and the eternal queen Marika and their inseparable connection. This right here was the moment where Goldmask was trying to understand Radagon's relationship to Marika. Darien and Devon are not just a profound analogy to Radagon and Marika, but also the other curseborn twins, Melania and Mikola, which is why when we give the twin set armor to D, Miyazaki gives us the inner order gesture, the missing piece of the puzzle. How Darien and Devon's being one soul is the foreshadowed analogy to Radagon is Marika plot twist. And all we have to do to provide this insight to Goldmask is to use the law of regression spell on the statue. And
What on earth did you do to the Master? Well, not that I'm complaining. Master's finger moves again, resuming his cogitation. More than good enough for me. I haven't the words to thank you. So I'd like to pass this on to you instead. A glimpse into the heart of the Golden Order. Documented by yours truly. To think that Radagon was Marika herself. Or at least, such is all I can interpret from the rhythm and calculus of his finger. How would such a thing even have been possible, I wonder? Sadly, I cannot comprehend it myself. Do you have a fuller understanding of the matter? Oh. Well, either way, I can continue my documentation. In truth, it matters very little whether I understand the Master's thoughts or not. I am merely his scribe. It is my sole and unwavering purpose.
that is enough for Goldmask to understand the rest of the logic. How one of the hunters, Devon, who he was challenging his worldview in the Order of Healing spell, actually had the missing piece all along to understand Radagon is Marika plot twist. How Radagon is Marika's other inseparable half, who has always desired to be complete his entire life. As the Radagon's icon makes it clear, a legendary talisman depicting the Elden Lord Radagon. As the husband of Renala of Caria, the red-haired Radagon studied sorcery, and as the husband of Queen Marika, he studied incantations. Thus did the hero aspire to be complete. The non-dual union with Marika. That's what Radagon desired his entire life. The spiritual union, not the conceptual. In Jungian psychology, the term rubido is perfectly aligned with Radagon himself. Rubido is a Latin word for redness and explains the process that allows an individual to attain the integration of opposites, their transcendence, and finally, emergence of an undifferentiated unconscious. In the archetypal, rubido represents the self archetype, and the self manifests itself in the wholeness, a point in which a person discovers their true nature, a process called reunification, which entails the reunion of body, soul, and spirit, leading to a diminished inner conflict. Radagon, as the self-archetype in Jungian psychology, desired all his life to be complete and reunified with his other half Marika, leading to diminished inner conflict, as evident from the lore itself, where Radagon wanted to mend the Elden Ring and Marika wanted to shatter it. After the union with Marika, Radagon's resistance slowly evaporated and the inner conflict diminished, eventually giving into Marika's temptation to become one, unable to stop Marika, shattering the Elden Ring, and the consequent containment of the metaphysical that is the Elden Ring within their corporeal non-dual body. This is the profound truth and connection Goldmask has realized when we told him Radagon is Marika in the capital. Afterwards, Corin is really happy. Goldmask can continue his contemplations. Now we arrive at the final contemplation. This plot twist, Radagon is Marika, is not the final answer. Corin makes it clear in his dialogue. Master's finger moves again, resuming his cogitation, more than good enough for me. Goldmask is still in the process of understanding how the inner order and outer order can be conjoined and result in a singular greater understanding that can perfect the Golden Order itself. Before Goldmask spoils the answer for us, let's figure it out together. When you combine the truths of the inner order and outer order, the realization will dawn on you. Inner order is Marika and Radagon's union, described as an analogy to Darien and Devon's conditions. Outer order was the representation of unalloyed gold in the earth tree roots to bring back reincarnation. Now I want you to combine both and arrive at an answer. The transcendental ideology that will perfect the Golden Order. Mikola, the inventor of unalloyed gold and the child of the union of Radagon and Marika. See, Goldmask had the same realization with the Golden Order totality at the end of his pilgrimage when we find him in the Stargazer ruins, in the mountaintops of the Giants. In the same location, Mikola's Halictory resides. If you look at the map of Stargazer ruins where we find Goldmask, you can see the two bridges and ruins are shaped as the T-pose from the Golden Order totality. A set of ruins found in the central mountaintops of the Giants. The plateau it is sitting on is located between two bridges. When you speak with Corin, he is in utter disbelief and fear.
Nice to see you. I can't believe you've come all this way. I've been gripped by a terrifying thought. The rhythms and calculus of the Master's finger betray a suspicion of the holism of the Golden Order, a conceit, I am afraid, that cannot be overlooked. Oh, but how could this be? I dread to even entertain the possibility, but somehow I cannot cast aside my doubts about the Master. Tell me, have I simply lost my head? Only, if the Master were true to the Golden Order, why would he think to breach this forbidden mount of fire? Oh, Master, put my mind at ease. Dispel these fearsome thoughts. I want to place my trust in you, to be your scribe.
The significance of the Stargazer ruins can further be explained by the oracle envoys that resides in Mikkeli's Halictree, spirits of a monstrous band of musicians who employ sacred arts. It is said that when oracle envoys appear playing their pipes, they do so to herald the arrival of a new god. Their god, the true Empyrean, is Mikkela, and Goldmask is here at the Stargazer ruins to see the true Empyreans rise to ascension. Rune discovered by the noble Goldmask, used to restore the fractured Elden Ring when brandished by the Elden Lord. A rune of transcendental ideology which will attempt to perfect the Golden Order. The current imperfection of the Golden Order or instability of ideology can be blamed upon the fickleness of the gods no better than men. That is the fly in the ointment. That transcendental ideology Goldmask has realized is embodied within Mikkela, who has hermaphrodite qualities of male and female in a single body, the perfect union of mercury and sulfur. And if you still do not see the connection, here is the final nail in the coffin. Golden Epitaph. A sword made to commemorate the death of Godwyn the Golden, first of the demigods to die, infused with the humble prayer of a young boy. O brother, Lord brother, please die a true death. If you look carefully at its tip, you will see a familiar face. Goldmask himself. Mikkela respected the teachings of Goldmask, and he decided to engrave Goldmask in his own Golden Order totality gesture. In Goldmask's Mending Rune of Perfect Order, Goldmask says, "The fickleness of the gods know better than men." Marika tried to shatter the Elden Ring and Radagon tried to mend it, illustrating how the ensuing Age of Order, under Goldmask's vision, will integrate the new wisdom of the transcendental Golden Order fundamentalism, a nod to the true Empyrean of the Golden Order. Ultimately, Goldmask's theoretical vision is the best an age can accomplish without Mikkeli's ascension to the throne.
The fallen leaves tell a story of how a tarnished became Elden Lord in our home across the fog, the lands between. Our seed will look back upon us and recall the age of order.
Hello everyone, if you enjoyed this video, give it a like, comment and subscribe. Goldmask's ending was one of the most underexplored subjects in the lore community. Considering its depth, hopefully I was able to convey its significance to the greater narrative of Elden Ring. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.